Morning everyone, hope you're well. I've had a little bit of a break, you may or not have noticed. Yeah, last video you just saw me at Bleak Tarn shooting the heather towards the end of August, and since that period, the long and short of it is I've had a few car issues. My car's been off the road for a good period, which was, you know, a bit of a problem for me because I was having to lend cars off my mum and my partner, and as you can imagine, some of the places I go for photography, yeah, I wasn't keen on driving other people's vehicles up there. So there's been that, and also the end of the tourist season in the Lake District's been absolutely manic, so it's been really busy in the gallery, which is great, obviously, but yeah, hasn't left a lot of time for photography. And the other thing as well, I suppose, is this period between, well, the period that we've just gone through from the end of September into the start of autumn, it's a little bit of a quiet period for photography. So, you know, I just thought I'll have a little break. I mean, I love my photography, don't get me wrong, but I'm quite happy to put the camera down if I feel I need a bit of a break from it. I think if you go out and force it too much, you know, you can get a little bit stale. So yeah, bit of a break, but I'm out now. We're into the third week of October, and the colours are really starting to come out now. So yeah, really excited to get going and do some autumn photography. The plan for today, I'm going to probably get to 2 or 3 different locations. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to split it across a couple of vlogs or just do the one vlog. We'll have to see. But the first point of call today is a place that I actually filmed at the very start of producing these vlogs, back in the sort of early part of summer. It wasn't a bad vlog, to be honest. I just didn't put it out at the time because, you know, I was a little bit green with what I was doing, and I felt I could have done a better job with it. And truth be told as well, it was always the intention to come back in autumn when the colour was out. So yeah, today I'm going to do a little bit of woodland, and then later on in the afternoon a little bit of scouting for a couple of spots that I'm going to probably come back to in a couple of weeks when the colour's really at its peak. But for now, I'll catch up with you in a bit when I've got to my spot. Okay, so I've only got 5 minutes down the road from where I last spoke to you, and I've already been sidetracked. The colour's really vibrant, actually. I'd say, to be honest, it's a little bit early. It's caught me out a little bit here. This lovely patch of birches has, well, it's compelled me to stop and get the camera out anyway. I've took a couple of frames there, one in portrait with just the 3 birches in isolation, and I've took a wider one in landscape format with the 2 what I think are oak trees next to it. The leaves on those 2 trees are really, really red already. I'm not sure if the landscape one will work. I'm a little sort of on the fence with the relationship between the 2 sets of trees. I always like, you know, when I'm shooting woodland, I'm always looking for, you know, relationships between the trees, and they do feel a little bit separate, but I might change my mind when I get back and review them on the screen anyway. Telephoto lens on. I'm not going to bore you with all the, you know, settings spiel because, well, it bores the pants off me anyway. Here's a nice couple of photos to start with anyway. think I should probably make something quite clear here. before I go any further. When you last saw me taking that last image of the nice set of 3 birches together, getting that lovely direct light, I had a bit of a nightmare. Shortly after taking that, the camera completely fogged up with condensation, and I had to abort the vlog, hightail it home and get it dried out. I was actually on a workshop with a lovely lady the day before, and it had been absolutely pouring down. All the gear got soaked. But, you know, you do what you're meant to do in these situations. You dry the gear out gradually. And when I came out yesterday morning, the gear appeared to be pretty dry. So I thought no more of it. But clearly whatever moisture was still left in the camera, obviously I hadn't got out. And when I was taking that picture of the birches, when that light got out, the temperature went up quite quickly. And it's obviously done for it there. So I've had to come out the next day and film the rest of the vlog. So hopefully it doesn't make this vlog too disjointed. We have got pretty similar conditions this morning. A bit more cloud overhead. So we might get more sort of softer reflected light than perhaps we were getting yesterday, but that should still work. And I'm going to continue on to the place I'd planned to go to yesterday. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Okay, so I've made it down to the next spot on my list. The colour's absolutely fantastic. It's really, well, I think I was saying yesterday, it's kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. Normally, the colour to be this advanced, it's usually at least a week further on than it is at the minute. So, yeah, certainly can't complain. This little stretch of waterfalls I've actually been eyeing up for a couple of years, and I think I mentioned yesterday that I did actually attempt to film a vlog here right at the start of this little YouTube adventure, and yeah, I never put it out because it was a little rough around the edges, and you know, I didn't really feel like I'd done the landscape around me justice really. But I can show you a couple of the images that I shot that day. Now the first one is this sort of taller section of waterfalls, and I was less of a fan of this image just because it's quite a big section of waterfalls, but the problem with shooting this type of subject sometimes is it's not always easy to get across the scale. And you know, even though when I'm stood there looking at it in person, it feels quite grand and quite powerful, I'm not sure that really comes across in the image. I'm also a little bit far away from the water, so you know, ideally I'd like to get a little closer to it, but I'm stood on a ledge here, so you know, I can't really improve upon that picture too much. Now the autumn colour would improve it a little bit, but really I don't think I'm going to shoot that one today. I mean, that's the benefit of coming and scouting a location. You know, you're that much more familiar with what you're going to shoot. Now the second image is one that I am going to come and do today. We haven't got quite the same sort of light as in that first shot, but hopefully the softer reflected light that we've got today will complement those autumn colours a little more. Okay, so onto this image. Now, I thought I'd do a bit of a voiceover rather than do it out in the field, because when you're shooting these waterfalls it can often be really loud and it's a little bit tough to sort of hear yourself think properly. So yeah, doing this from the comfort of my own home. The shot itself, I did actually make a bit of an error in that I got to this location and I'd forgot to put the previous version that I'd shot on my phone, so I had a little bit of a tough time actually finding the spot that I intended to shoot. I did actually find it in the end, although the combination of the way the light was falling and also the sort of colours that we've got at this time of year meant that that shot wasn't actually going to work that well under this set of circumstances. It really worked better back in the summer. So I ruled that out, and I came further up the stream. This one was a little bit of a pain to sort of compose, in that I couldn't really get the tripod set where I wanted it. I'd ideally have liked to get a lot closer to that little section of where the water is flowing there, but about 6 foot ahead of me it's quite deep water, so I couldn't really do that. So I had to kind of settle for this spot, and this was really as good as I could compose the image. The soft light that was coming through the top of the canopy of the trees actually was much easier and much better for the autumn colours than direct light. I think it's easy to think you need direct light a lot of the time, but when you're shooting things like heather and also the autumn colours, too much direct light can actually wash out some of that saturation. So soft light here was much more preferable. I did like that little splash of colour in the bottom right hand corner with the leaves that fell in the water there that were swirling around. That was quite a nice touch. And in the end, I was reasonably happy with this picture. It's yeah, it's pretty nice. The colour was much better than I was expecting it to be, and yeah, pretty good result, I think. Keep looking down, expecting this wind muff to fall off. It's absolutely useless. Apparently it's a known issue, these ones that road supply you with, that they just fall off. I've got some replacements on order. It's been bugging me all day. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that vlog. It wasn't too disjointed. Felt a bit disjointed filming it, but hopefully that doesn't come across to you, the viewer. That last little section there, I just did a bit of a voiceover because it's a little hard to hear yourself think around waterfalls when you're filming. It's a little louder than it's probably coming across on the camera. So yeah, hopefully I was able to articulate my thoughts a little bit better. A couple of quick plugs before I go. First off, I must plug my mate Neil BURNELL's book. If you're not familiar with Neil's work, you certainly should be. Top photographer at the top of his game. He's produced a collection of images that he's shot over the last 3 or 4 years, I think, at Wistman's Woods in Dartmoor. Now the first edition completely sold out. I've got mine, but he's running a second edition, which I'm sure will sell out as well. I'll put a link in the description to go and check out some of those images. They're absolutely fantastic. Yeah, one of the best photographers in the country at the moment, I would say. And the other plug I've got also is for myself. I won't do too much of this on this channel because I know it does annoy viewers a little bit when people are constantly trying to flog you stuff. But I do have a calendar. It's that time of year. It's on pre-order, about 2 years worth of my favourite images. Go and check that out. It's priced at £15 plus postage, so very reasonable. And yeah, the pre-order's on now, and the order for them will be going in at the start of November. Shipping sort of mid-November, end of November. So yeah, but enough of the plugging. Anyway, I'm going to get going because I've got a shop to open in half an hour. Next couple of weeks I'm just going to be out as much as possible because I mean the Lake District's absolutely fantastic at the minute. The colour is amazing, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to bring you a bit more content. But for now, I'll see you on the next one for some more autumn photography.